What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Diablo Immortal podcast video. Today, Indez and I are going to be discussing what went down and who was the winner of the Diablo Immortal versus Diablo 2 versus Diablo 4 face-off for the 30-year announcement for the anniversary of Blizzard and the Diablo franchise. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about Diablo Immortal, but I first want to start talking about Diablo 2. Indez, thanks again for coming to the channel, man. I know you had a pop-in stream throughout the event. I was so happy to see it. Let's start off with Diablo 2. What are your thoughts and what's going on?
So first of all, thank you so much for having me here once again. It's always a pleasure to have a conversation with you, as well as it was super exciting. I mean, like, if you are a Diablo franchise fan, this was like one of the biggest days that we had. And what I really liked on this day was not only like the build up of the hype and of people were like very excited to see what was gonna come for Diablo Immortal, but as well the whole franchise. But the way that Blizzard was managed to make an event that put all the three games all together and still was able to surprise us like with a banger of a release of the Warlock class, especially for Diablo 2. Like the first patch in many years that I don't think anyone was actually expecting that.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that was the highlight of everything. A game that's 25 years old gets an update that big. So many people were excited about it. Diablo 2 fans were, praising Blizzard for this. And I honestly think that this right here, the reign of the Warlock in Diablo 2, was the actual highlight of the event overall. But there was a bunch of stuff that went on with Diablo Immortal as well, and what we're watching here in the background is the silenced version of everything announced for Diablo Immortal, which was really a lot of what we were expecting, Indez. I know we kind of spoke about this coming up to the event, and a lot of what we predicted was here. The Warlock being the class, let's talk about that a little bit. We predicted the Warlock. It kind of was leaked, and you had a strong belief that that was it, and I got to test it in Diablo 2, and I know that you played it a little bit in Diablo 2 as well. Now, it's going to probably play a ton different. It's 100% going to be so different in Diablo Immortal. But what was your experience like trying out Diablo 2 Resurrected as the new Warlock class? Me, personally, I only spent about an hour in it, and it was a lot of fun. Not only the Warlock, but actually Diablo 2 as well. It kind of was a much simpler type of game. I don't know, it brought me back to a simpler time. 25 years ago, the way that games were back then. What was your experience with the Warlock class, at least in Diablo 2?
Yeah, so for me, last year, I had like my first playthrough in Diablo 2 Resurrect. I played as a Barbarian, and I managed to actually reach to like level 28, where I killed the Diablo, and then pretty much I never played it again. This time, I went back into the game as the Warlock, and let me tell you, man, it was so much easier. One thing that I liked in it is that you have three builds. You have the Chaos, so the Chaos energy is more like the caster form of the Warlock, and then you also have the primary attack build that I'm not remembering the name, and then of course I went to the demonology where you can start summoning your goat man. You can actually have like multiple demons with you. So right now I'm in that phase. I now have two demons, and the whole experience was inside the game was really hard at the first place, because I was playing Diablo Immortal, and then once you land into Diablo 2, the pace, it is so different. Like you are not ready to just like have that experience that you have to go like through everything. You're not like zooming to everything. You're not like super fast. Everything is like super slow.
Yeah.
So for me, at the first glance, it was like kind of hard to adjust to that. But once you get, and then you just calm down, you understand that's a game that you're just gonna be able to chill. You're gonna level up. You're gonna actually, because it's slower paced, you can actually absorb a bit more like the lore to understand like where like certain things are coming from, even like in Diablo Immortal. And the playthrough went like very very smooth. Like the Warlock, I think, is gonna be definitely one of the strongest classes in the Diablo 2. In Diablo Immortal, I think that the Warlock is gonna be way faster paced, and
Of course.
we're gonna have a big golem that a big demon that they shown that probably is gonna be our pet. But I'm pretty sure like we saw him like flying like on another demon. So Yeah, very different play styles, and it was very interesting during the presentation. Whenever they presented the Warlock for the three games, how distinct and different it was for all the three.
Yeah, no, I agree. It feels like in Diablo Immortal, you just run through and melt everything. Then you go to Diablo 2 Resurrected, and you literally are having engagements with each enemy on the map. So
Yeah.
just a different kind of game. Now, before we dive into Diablo Immortal specifically, I want to let everyone know that I have chosen the winner of the Diablo 2 key so that they can themselves play the Warlock in the Reign of the Warlock version of Diablo 2, the big update. I'm going to be announcing that winner at some point in this video, so make sure you stay tuned. All you have to do is get in touch with me on Discord, and I can get you that key. But let's focus in on Diablo Immortal. They spoke about the new class, they spoke about the new zones, and the lore. And a new boss, as we're seeing pop up on the screen right now as well, which is a boss that many know from years of old. But not much else, Indez. We didn't have a ton more. Let's actually take a peek at the roadmap right here. And you and I, we did speak a bit about this on stream once the event was over, so we don't have to go crazy in depth. At the end of the day, we have a lot of the same things, and there's two things that I'm going to point out that we could have as potentially different. One of them is a new PvP competition. Is that just going to be a new Bout of Realms? Possibly. It potentially is. We do have the Battleground overhaul. Not as sure what that is. Do you know what these are before I go into the next?
That part I have no idea, which should kind of make me excited because like that's the thing. Like you said, whenever we went into like the announcement of Diablo Immortal, we knew that there was going to be the new class. We knew
Yep.
that's going to be the new zone as well, the new quest with the new boss, right? And as well, of course, showing the roadmap. So I just wanted, I was still in the hope that they were going to showing something that we were not expecting. So here, whenever I read this Battleground overall, I mean, like we had the Chaos Convoy, but I don't think that's what it's going to be. So I don't know. I'm clueless, so I'm quite excited for like the next month to see what is going to be the big announcement regarding the battlegrounds, also the new PvP competition. I don't know if this is related to the Baltor Realms. I really hope that it is. It is not, but regardless, I think there are pretty much some exciting, small exciting things there.
I mean, we're looking at January through March, so we're basically mid-February right now. So we have a month and a half for things to happen. Best case scenario, something really cool comes to Battlegrounds and there's a new PvP competition. The worst case scenario is the new PvP competition is the Chaos Convoy, and
Battleground.
the Battleground overhaul is just, some matchmaking changes, So we're not really
Yeah.
sure. It's not something that has been leaked, that we've heard, that we've spoken to Blizzard about, so we will see. But let's move on over here and take a look at April through June, because this is something, and this is really the last thing from this that I thought was, had something with potential, and that's the new endgame PvE challenge. We know that there's a new zone. Could a new PvP endgame challenge be a dungeon? I don't think so. I think they would have put something on here regarding a dungeon. I'm very curious if this is going to be something really good. Like, are they going to create a whole new game mode? Like, we have our cycling game modes that come once a month or so throughout the game. Is this another new one? I think them implementing a new mode like that on a yearly basis could freshen up the game a little bit if it's a good game mode. What are your thoughts on this? I don't know what it is, but I hope it's something good.
So first, I hope that is nothing alike Vanguard. So
Oh,
what I want
yeah.
to say by that, what I want to say by that is because the Vanguard, whenever the first came, it was exciting. Like in the first week, and I still think the first week it is quite challenging. But then it just become like a chore that you have to do it like every Monday or Thursday. You get like some extra loots, but there is nothing like over there that is like super rewarding in my opinion. So I hope that they're gonna bring like an end game with a progression system attached. Maybe this will be asking for a lot, but something that players they will not feel that adding more PvE activities will mean that they're gonna add more chores or more tasks to their weekly things that they have to do. So we have to come up like with more modern solutions to the game, in my opinion. So maybe like a new tower that you can just like keep pushing, and maybe there's like some seasonal resets that is not always based on the combat rating. Otherwise, just gonna be another challenge rifts. There is like so much that you also see other games that they are trying to push and expand the game. But once you start making something that it has a weekly cap, literally immediately is gonna become like a chore that players
Yep.
will feel that they have to do, and over time they will just like start ignoring it or just getting a bit bored of what it
Yeah.
could be.
It's funny because I was thinking the same word. I was thinking the word chore, and then you said the word chore. Now, I do like Vanguard and Abyssal Verge, but I like them because they give really good rewards, right? It's not because I love jumping into Vanguard. And you're right. Once it does have a weekly reset and you get rewarded weekly for it, it kind of does become a chore. Unless if it's like defeat Diablo once, right? Like, it just keeps bringing you back to the fight, but you really don't want to go fight Diablo again and again. You do it for the extra, that legendary. But at the end of the day, I hope it's something good. I hope that it's something that offers a lot of replayability, that has rewards, but doesn't become so
And
focused.
it's fun.
Yeah.
And that it is fun,
Yes.
rewarding, and that you feel like you're putting your time and you're like scaling up, you're progressing, but you still feel like, okay, I'm having fun while I'm doing this, and it's just not another thing on my task list.
Yes, I completely agree. Everything should be fun. Now, we can dive to the rest of this calendar, which does not show us a ton. July through September, new subzone, new quest. Okay, we know that the zone is not coming out all at once. We're going to be getting fragmented versions of it, which is fine. And then October through December, more new subzones, new Heliquary bosses, new quests. So
Yeah.
they didn't show us much for the end of the year, which is fine. I think the highlight here is the new endgame PvE challenge and hopes of a battleground or PvP competition that are going to be, worth our time and enjoyable. Anything else that I didn't touch on here on the roadmap before we move on to the next topic?
We have the crossover events like in below near the warlock class.
Oh,
I
right,
feel
right,
like
right.
that's a lot that we can speculate. Obviously, there's we had the what is the name, StarCraft collaboration coming
Yep.
with the Diablo 4. And then later on, we thought that we were also going to come into Diablo Immortal, but it didn't. So maybe it will come right now, or maybe it's going to be like something completely outside from any Blizzard IP, and it's going to be something as random as Berserker was.
I hope it's something random, personally, because I think that's fun. Not
Yeah.
that I wouldn't be welcoming of a StarCraft. I was never a StarCraft player, so I don't like resonate with any of that. But some of, like I said, I play other games, like I play Raid, and some of my favorite things are when they bring in, and I know they wouldn't do this to Diablo, but like they brought in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That resonated with me from my childhood. They brought in Masters of the Universe, He-Man. It resonated. I don't think that stuff fits Diablo as much, but something. There are IPs out there that could fit, like Berserk, brutal, bloody, not demonic, but like just gory. That would fit a
Yeah.
Diablo scene. I'd be curious what they come up with, but most likely it's
Yeah,
going to
but
be something that they've already done.
yeah, I'll say like with the direction that we're going, the cosmetics most likely is gonna be the Hello Kitty. you know,
That's funny. I was thinking.
new collab.
I was thinking. That's funny. I was thinking Peter Pan, but you're right. All these wings and stuff. Hello Kitty. It would bring a new audience to the game. Younger audience for
Definitely.
sure. All right. I think we got the roadmap. I'm glad you brought up the crossover event because that should be something fun. At least some
Yeah, and
cosmetics
then
that
in
we.
June we're gonna have also the new class.
Yes. Yeah. Well, is that in here? Is that on here?
Yeah, it's gonna be in June,
Oh,
June
right here.
2026. That's when they
Yeah.
announced that it's gonna be the new Warlock class. I don't know if we're gonna be able to test it this time, but maybe they will.
I
We
hope so.
will, and yeah, together with the fourth anniversary, where we can also expect that we're gonna have a new 5-star. For free, at least one copy. That it tends to be. I will say like usually it tends to be like a good gem. So hopefully this year will also be.
I don't have too many slots left for good gems, man. I got all the good gems. You know. But yeah, you're right. I'm glad you mentioned the Warlock as well. I mean, that was assumed, but yes, we didn't mention in this video. It is dropping in June. It's really like the highlight of everything, which I think we can come to expect from Diablo Immortal new zone, new quest, new class on a yearly basis. Those are going to be the biggest of updates. Now, before I dive in and talk a little bit about Diablo 4 and how that went, I want to announce the winner. This was for the gift code for the Warlock and the entire DLC Reign of the Warlock. The winner here, just drop me a message on Discord, is Spartan GB. You had to type in "I'm in the video. Very simple. He got it done. Congratulations. Hope that you're going to be able to get good use of this and enjoy it. Hit me up over on Discord and we'll get that going. So I'll just play this in the background right here. And D4. I know that this isn't a D4 channel. We don't really play a lot of D4. It wasn't the highlight of the event. But what did you think of the announcement? They're going to be changing the talent trees, the skill trees up a little bit. I don't know. What else is a highlight for D4? Are they just trying to keep it resurrected or keep it from melting into the ground?
I mean, from all the three, Diablo 4 was definitely the one that got the biggest amount of content, right? It's definitely the game that, like, I'll say that more or less, Diablo 2 is their Mona Lisa, the perfect game, the classic that they really enjoy. Now they are trying to expand with the new expansions, maybe like some new classes, but they will still remain with the classic version. Diablo 4 was that game that whenever it first came out, a lot of hopes for it. It fell out a bit short, and now over the last few years, they are trying to literally just try to remove the meme that D4 bad, right? So, lot of content. We're gonna have new skill trees. Also, the Radric cube is also coming. We're also gonna have like a new charm system that talismans and things. New seasons, new classes. Like they had two classes. They had the Crusader as well as they had like the Necromancer. So overall, like it feels like they have a lot inside and a lot of plans for Diablo 4. So if you are a Diablo 4 fan, I mean, like, you probably, and if you already enjoyed, you're gonna have a lot of content coming into your way. And that's like when I think, like, if since I am like a Diablo Immortal player, I looked at that and I got a bit envious that I wish that we could also be looking at Diablo Immortal, getting our systems expand, maybe a new charm system, maybe like new progression, new, I don't know, like, but at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Well, the charm system is there. Maybe we could just adopt their charm system. Our charm system has been gross since day one. It's ready for an update. Maybe we could just use what Diablo 4 is doing. I think Diablo 4, I mean, that's going to be their big investment. I think Diablo 2 has probably seen its last big update that it's going to see ever or in many, many years. I think it was a great Easter egg surprise that so many OG fans were excited about. But as you mentioned, it wasn't the biggest announcement, although it was probably most people's favorite announcement. Diablo 4 is getting the most, but it's their flagship right now. That is what the Diablo franchise is built on. It's Diablo 4, and they need to do everything that they can to make it one of the top action RPGs, and it's got a big competitor out there as well, Path of Exile 2, that is getting a lot of attention and a lot of players are interested in. So I think we're going to continuously see new things coming, being improved. And honestly, I think that Diablo 4 is going to find itself a really good position and become a loved game, kind of like how Diablo 3 did, and it took some time to get there. I think Diablo 4 will get there as well. And ongoing, we're going to see a lot of different things coming to the game.
Yeah, I think you touched on a topic that I feel like it is the biggest difference, and why maybe like they also put their efforts like a bit more into Diablo 4. Not only is the flagship, but also they have big competitors, right? And whenever you have like big competition, it literally makes most likely your team a bit more motivated and like just to keep like trying to beat the other guys, like like it's because it's all about like trying to take that market share, trying to please the players. And so you have Last Epoch, you have Path of Exile 1 and 2, you also have now No Rest of the Wicked, and then you have as well Diablo 4. So you have like literally 4 or 5 big names out there that are competing for like that #1 slot, and that you can see like the Diablo 4, team is putting a lot of resources to try to accommodate their player base, but also trying to get to snatch a bit of the rest. And Diablo Immortal, I mean, like it is still the best game, and we look around and there's still like not a lot of competition whenever it comes to it. So maybe there's also one of the reasons why maybe we don't see like that extra effort into making and expanding the game to the next level.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. Diablo Immortal is the clear leader in action RPGs on mobile, where Diablo 4, tons of competition. I'm confident in Diablo 4. I mean, I love the Diablo franchise. Um, they do so many things right. Not that they do everything right, but it's just an easy franchise to love, especially if you've played games throughout the years. So I have high hopes for Diablo 4. I think the game's going to continue to improve, and hopefully when all of these updates do come out, it's a really enjoyable experience. We know that the team has a lot invested in making Diablo 4 super solid. So I'm actually curious of what Diablo 4... I didn't talk to any Diablo 4 players about the announcements and how they feel. I wonder how they're feeling. Did you have any conversations with any like big...
No, I actually did not, but I saw like I think a one record video about it. I think like they were pleased because like it's just like more content, more ways to expand. Like it's actually also fixing a lot of like problems that they had on the previous seasons. So it's always like a work in progress, and every season that they come and every expansion, they're just gonna keep making the game better. So yeah, I think it was a positive feedback.
Yeah, good. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, Indez, any last things that you want to discuss regarding this overall, specific to Diablo Immortal or Diablo 2 or Diablo 4?
No, I'll say like the last thing is was I think it was a banger of an event. I think like the team, the production, like the trailer, like the hype, the secrecy, especially for Diablo 2. I think it made that whole moment like really really cool. Also we had for Diablo Immortal, everyone was super excited for the 10 legendary crests that we knew that we were
Yes.
going to receive for free, so that was also another big incentive for people to go and watch the streams. But overall I feel like for the next months, I'm gonna definitely be trying. I already tried Warlock. Probably I'm gonna try to play it a bit more. Definitely, I'm gonna try the Warlock as well in Diablo 4 to make the comparison, and then in June as well, of course, try out the Warlock in Diablo Immortal.
Yeah, no, I love that, man. You know, I was also really excited at the very beginning of the event as a whole. They included Diablo Immortal in their discussions. I know you and I were talking like it was going to be at the very end, a little segment. They seemed to be less embarrassed about Diablo Immortal. It was up there. They were mentioning Diablo 2, Diablo Immortal, Diablo 4 multiple times throughout the event. So as a Diablo Immortal player and our communities, I think that was a really positive thing, that it's less of a secret now and that it's a little bit more like this is what we got, this is what we're doing, and we're a little less ashamed about it. So, Indez, thanks as always for coming through. For those of you that don't know, Indez has a channel where he focuses on Diablo Immortal. He does very regular live streams almost daily and puts out great guides. He's actually the creator, I believe you're the creator of the Immortal Barbarian that I absolutely love of that build. So
Yes.
just got to give credit where it's due. Absolutely love that build. Go check him out. I'll be linking his channel in the description, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. More episodes of the Immortal podcast to come. Thanks for coming through, Indez.
Cheers. Thank you for having me.
Take care, guys.